Hi everyone, welcome to Crypto Market. Today I would like to talk to you about a very important topic. What is the difference between cryptocurrency and token? First, we have to understand that crypto assets are made of two large groups. The first group are cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are the unit of account of a blockchain network. To explain the concept, I am going to use the currencies of the countries. Each country has its own currency. The United States has the dollar, Canada has the Canadian dollar, Mexico has the Mexican peso, Argentina has the Argentine peso. Each country is the only one that has the monopoly of issuance from the central bank and can only create its own currency. Argentina cannot create Mexican pesos and Canada cannot create Argentine pesos. The currency of each country is used as a means of exchanging goods and services. If I am in Canada and I need to pay for a service, it will be very difficult, almost impossible for me to pay with Argentine pesos. Each country has its respective national currency. In the case of blockchain networks, it is very similar. Each blockchain is independent from one another and has its own currency. Let's look at the example with the most important blockchains today, starting with the Bitcoin network. Its native currency is Bitcoin. On the Ethereum network, its native currency is Ether. On the Solana network, its native currency is Sol. On the Polkadot network, its native currency is DOT. On the Kusama network, its native currency is KSM. On the Cardano network, its native currency is ADA. On the Avalanche network, its native currency is AVAX. And on the Polygon network, its native currency is Matic. And so all blockchains have their own currency. Additionally, each coin created in the network is an incentive to maintain the decentralization and security of the network. They are also used to pay fees for transactions made on the network itself. Each cryptocurrency has its own form of issuance. In the case of Bitcoin, currently has a policy of 6.25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. Or each block generated with a maximum of 21 million units. These amounts per generated block decrease every 4 years in an event known as a halving. In the case of Ethereum, Solana and Avalanche, the monetary policy is infinite. Now let's look at the second group, the tokens. Tokens are created programmatically using smart contracts. They are used for specific cases, such as the representation of a digital asset, such as gold or crypto art, also real estate. There are many things that can be represented by tokens. Tokens are often very confused with cryptocurrencies, but they are totally different. A token has a totally different monetary policy than the cryptocurrency, and it needs a network on which the smart contract can run. Monetary policy is known as tokenomics and will always depend on who created the token. This information is very important when investing in a project. Let's look at these examples. Power Ledger is an ERC20 token created on the Ethereum network, while the monetary policy of Ethereum is infinite. The founders decided that they would only create 1 billion. Another example is the token from the decentralized exchange SushiSwap. It is also an ERC20 token. It was created on the Ethereum network, and only 250,000 tokens will be created. Other examples of tokens are the famous Shiba Inu, Axie Infinity, PancakeSwap, Pax Gold, the Sandbox, and finally Tether USDT. This union of cryptocurrencies with tokens creates the concept of crypto assets. Now let's look at the different types of crypto assets. Cryptocurrencies can be divided into two: those created to transfer value such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, Dash, or Dogecoin, and those created for the development of smart contracts such as Ethereum, Polkadot, and Avalanche. Tokens can be divided into utility tokens. This is the simplest token. It is normally used to represent simple things, like coupons. It really has no value. Collectibles, better known as NFTs. These tokens are used in the world of crypto art, where works by famous artists can be represented in a single token. They are also used to create game characters with different types of rarities, which can be very expensive. Stable coins. These tokens represent a fiduciary currency. The most used is the US dollar. There is also the digital euro and others that are being developed. Security tokens. These represent some type of financial instrument, such as stocks and commodities. Governance tokens. These allow the person who owns them to vote or participate in decision-making on projects. Aave, Maker, Compound, and Uniswap are examples of these types of tokens. Well, my friends, that's all for this video. I hope you really liked this information about the difference between token and cryptocurrency. And thanks so much for the support. This is very important to me, and don't forget subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.